Hi everyone, the Lone Wolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games. And when it comes to EVE Online, I actually spent most of the week doing some more content for the hunt. I actually got some really nice reward. I feel like I did a lot better than I would have doing missions even in the Golem. Yeah, it's just been a blast for me flying around in the flycatcher, doing those combat sites and then looking for that loot from the special drone at the end in the second room. It's been working out quite nicely, so I went way above the 300 points that you need to earn for the hunt, but I must admit that I think my efficiency will be because of a prior investment. Basically at the start of the hunt I did spend a couple of evenings just hunting capsules and I gathered like 20 keys or something like that, and that did allow me to just put half a dozen keys in the flycatcher for an evening, fly around. It's a lot less contested at this point. You find a combat site, you run it, you move on to the next one, and yeah, the drops were actually pretty damn reasonable for me personally, especially considering in the flycatcher it really doesn't take that long to run a site for the hunt. That meant that I was back in Amar space, so we also took a look at the Amar market. I really still get that feeling that there's a lot of mining happening around Amar, and someone also mentioned that there was basically a massive buyout that happened with the announcement of the industrial changes for just grabbing a lot of resources so that you could get your industry runs up and running for nearby nullsec, lowsec, nullsec groups. So they've done that, and that's what basically explains that massive spread between sellers and buyers that we're seeing for the raw materials in Amar at the moment. It does create a pretty nice opportunity, and as I've said, once CCP starts to deploy the changes, especially phase 2 when we have to use the new blueprint, I do expect demand for that to fall, to drop a little bit. So we are basically in a little bit of a bubble where I think it's the ideal time for you to try to sell, I'm there. So yeah, blueprint copies, they're selling decently well. I would say we're back on the average numbers for the price, and we're getting a little bit of a slightly better turnover than what I'm used to. So definitely a change from just 10 days ago where we had crazy prices. We're running out of blueprints in Amar. So overall, still pretty good. It's a solid way for me to earn some ISK, making copies mostly for the Orca and then for the freighters as well. And then here and there I'm adding like a carrier blueprint or a dreadnought blueprint or something like that. It's definitely a cycle that I'm continuing. Every 10 days or so we go back, set up the next set of jobs, and then just bring those blueprints out to Amar. Now that may drop a little bit, especially for those combat ships, of course, as they become more complex to make. I do think that CCP's aim is to stop proliferation, so to make it harder to have and to build a carrier. As a result, those blueprints may drop in value a little bit, but overall I think that focusing on the Orca and the freighters, we should still see pretty strong demand there. So overall, yeah, blueprint copies still looking pretty solid as an option, and I have of course gotten my base of operations basically up and running in Kaldari space, the first station where I get access to a level 4 mission, the golems there. I still want to get a salvage ship as well, because I don't want to be looting in the golem. You don't want to sit still for long periods of time in a ship that's that valuable. So we just want to have a mission, you do the golem, set a waypoint, dock back up, and then bring out, I think it's going to be a Noctis for some extra salvaging and looting. That's probably going to be the final little preparation for when it comes to ships. But after that, of course, I will still want to get access to more level 4 missions around that system. So that's going to be a little bit of a grind that I'll probably engage in slowly, as well as my Kaldari base of operations is definitely starting to take shape. And then of course I'm looking forward to CCP's further announcements, the deployment of the industry changes, and that'll probably lead me into my next set of plans, my next set of goals in EVE Online. So yeah, it's looking pretty good for me to just keep going, keep having fun, and keep making videos. And so that left me with a little bit of time, and so I have started an adventure in a new game for the channel. It's gonna be a pretty short one. I'm still basically exploring the game, but it is Civilization 6. You know, I'm a big fan of Civilization. Getting in touch with Civilization 1, the very first game when, you know, the characters look like little cards that just moved on like a regular square pattern boards there. That's what got me into gaming. That's what got me into PCs. So overall, that's you know, like my introduction into the whole thing, and I'll never forget that. As a result, I do tend to buy almost every Civilization game. I grabbed it a while ago on Steam for a nice sale, so that's a big advantage for Steam, of course. I just put those games on my wish list, then I see a nice like 70% off or something like that. I grab it for when I feel like you know, exploring the new Civ game. So this one is very different. It is still Civ. I mean, completely addicted playing through this. Next turn, please, just another one, and you just keep going. You just keep seeing, all right, I just want to achieve that, I just want to achieve that, maybe want to take another city, maybe get another great person. All of that stuff just keeps you going. It's super addictive and a lot of fun, but this is definitely a very different way of playing Civilization. There's a lot more to keep in mind at this point. You get basically 2 research tracks, one for research, one for culture. You've got religion, you've got those great persons. You don't build your own roads anymore, so that's true, like a trade trade route mechanic that you can set up roads. It's just super complex, and it's basically become broader. When I used to play Civ back in the old days, maybe Civ 3 or something like that, I think I was completely addicted to that one as well. And then you could really do that. You turtle up in just a small region, and then you just focus on research. You get ahead of everyone else, get those best units, and you just steamroll everything. That just doesn't work in this one, I don't think. For now, I've basically been exploring the game in like really easy settings so that I can understand it and watch for those mechanics, because it's not that easy. For instance, you have to have a specific upgrade, or no, it's not even an upgrade, it's like a specific tile fill for a city that can then be upgraded into a certain museum, that then gives you access to a certain unit that can then go and take advantage of certain tiles. It's really complex. Everything is built up in its own little advancement trees that I need to learn this game, and so that's what I've been doing in a pretty relaxed way, which is why I'm not jumping into the harder difficulty settings so I don't get completely stumped. So super relaxed, and then I've been doing 3 playthroughs so far. The first one with what seemed like the easiest civilization, the Congo. They basically don't have to worry about religion because they can take advantage of all the religions regardless of what their citizens choose. After that, I took Rome, probably I'm gonna say the overpowered one, specifically for the economy, because it gets like free trade routes, which is like super powerful. You can get a huge amount of gold there, and you know, I basically got that culture victory done in no time. And now I'm actually playing, and that's going to be a couple of videos for next week as well. I'm playing with the Vikings, with Norway, I believe it is, and there I'm just going military. So I'm trying to conquer everything. I'm trying to get some combat into me to explore, you know, the difference now between ranged units, flying units, cavalry units. Everything is just, you know, it has its own niche, and it's a little bit more rock, paper, scissors, and I think that there's better ways to siege than what I've been doing. So overall, yeah, that's what I've been doing next to EVE Online, guys, exploring a little bit of Civilization 6 while being in a waiting pattern, because of course the announcement came that the next leak for Path of Exile is coming next week. Ultimatum seems really interesting, and I love the changes that they're making to the labyrinth. That should make it a lot more accessible for me to get that 4th lab upgrade, that 4th ascendancy, and basically finish some characters a little bit better than just getting them into maps. So totally looking forward to the next league for Path of Exile as well. But for now, it's been a little bit of a Civilization break. You know, it was banished, then it was Foundation, and now it's Civ 6 as my relaxation game. That was my last week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.